All right. I'm Chris Cohen, the beer scholar. I have been interested in rustic farmhouse ales since the day I started homebrewing back in 2008. Because farmhouse brewers and the whole concept of farmhouse brewing just felt close to and connected to what I was doing in my backyard when I brewed. So when I heard there was this whole farmhouse brewing scene in Norway that included the use of traditional land-raised yeast blends and home malting, I was very excited and I read everything I could find about it, which was not much. I went to Norway in 2018 to meet farmhouse brewers and learn more. What I discovered kind of blew my mind, especially when it came to their special types of yeast. So, you know how every small brewery that gets a little bit of hype seems to run out of brewing and fermenting capacity in no time, and its beers become more and more scarce? Then, maybe a few years down the line, the brewery owners raise money and invest hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars building a new facility to double or triple their capacity. Well, imagine if they could instantly double their capacity just by switching the yeast strain they use for their most popular releases. That would revolutionize craft brewing and enable brewery growth unthinkable using the currently popular brewer strains like Vermont and Chico. That, I think, is the promise of Kveik. So let's explore this yeast, starting with how to pronounce it. How do you say it? I was in Norway for the Norsk Kornølfestival in 2018. It's a small festival in Hornindal, Norway, centered around traditional Norwegian farmhouse ales. And while I was there, I heard what sounded to my ears like 3 different ways of saying this word. The first was Kveik, with a subtle V sound. Kveik. My understanding is that this is the most correct way to say the word. But that said, some Norwegians I spoke with didn't seem to say the V sound as much, and their pronunciation sounded more like quake. Quake. Another way was quake, sort of like earthquake. You can hear that the differences are fairly subtle. I think saying Kveik can be a little difficult for English speakers, but if you say quake or quake to a Norwegian beer nerd, they'll understand what you're getting at. So quake, quake, or Kveik. You just don't have to take my word for it, though. Let's hear directly from some Norwegian farmhouse brewers I spoke to in Norway.
Quake, Kveik. The Kveik strains only Kveik. Quake, not Quake, Quakes, Kveik.
The Kveik?
Doing Kveik, one with Kveik. The Kveik.
A Kveik. It's a local Kveik from Hornindal. The Kveik is from the area.
All right. Fun bonus fact number 1. The term Kveik comes from Old Norse and is related to the Old English word quick, which meant alive or lively, as in, if you put this stuff in a sweet liquid, the whole thing comes alive and ultimately becomes beer, or makes bread rise. Fun bonus fact number 2. Kveik is not actually the word that all Norwegians use to refer to their traditional farmhouse yeast blends, even though it has recently come into that use for the rest of us in order to keep things simple. In Norway, people in different regions call their yeast a variety of names, including yeast, yester, gong, and barm, if I'm saying all those correctly, among other things. But because that's pretty confusing, it's been generally accepted that Kveik is an appropriate term. So now you know how to say Kveik, or quake, or quake. Check out the next video about Kveik, where we talk about why we should care about it. Why does it matter? Why are we even talking about it? Hey, thanks for hanging out. I'm Chris Cohen, the beer scholar. If you are interested in learning more about beer, maybe passing the Certified Beer Server and Certified Cicerone exams, I've written the main study guides on the market for those exams, and you can get yourself a copy like thousands of others have done at thebeerscholar.com. And thanks again. I will see you soon.